Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Folks, more and more people every day sharing their updates from their actual bankers, sharing their updates on establishing relationships with these bankers who will exchange their currencies, establishing relationships with the bankers who will take the currency from their exchange to a wealth management platform, firm, to be able to grow their generational wealth. Wealth managers that are opening up more and more to members as they continue to establish the relationships. And folks, the key is to establish these relationships. You can click the link at the top of the description and join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room. There's 8 steps that we share to help you to be able to be successful in establishing the relationships with the actual bankers who will be prepared for your exchange and grow your wealth. Today, Goldilocks is sharing some invaluable information regarding the Basel III endgame, which is, folks, gold. What is going to back our currencies? Gold. And there's a date. Goldilocks wants to re-emphasize this so that you understand your investment more with these currencies and the importance of Basel III. Let's jump right into it. Basel III regulations will not directly impact foreign currency exchange rates, but they can indirectly influence foreign currency exchange rates by affecting bank capital and the overall financial system's stability. These changes can impact capital flows and the availability of credit to banks, which in turn can influence currency exchange rates. Folks, Basel III that goes into effect July 1st. There are 3 components that you must understand that'll happen within banks as of July 1st because of Basel III, the endgame. Number 1 is the capital requirements for banks, meaning banks must have a certain amount of money or capital in their reserves in the event of a financial crisis. This is all as a solution. Basel III was created as a solution to the 2008 financial crisis. So number 1, capital requirements, money banks must have to prevent a crash. Number 2, banks must have a certain amount of gold, whereby beginning July 1st, gold will be considered a tier 1 asset in the banking system. Number 3, banks must have an adequate amount of foreign currency in their reserves. Just think, all banks around the world as of July 1st must meet 3 requirements under the Basel III endgame rules. One, a certain amount of cash. Two, a certain amount of gold, whereby also gold will be considered a tier 1 asset. And three, foreign currency reserves. An adequate foreign currency reserves. So, also, let's say a 3A or 4, also these banks will have a certain amount of cryptocurrencies in reserves. So just think, banks around the world will have, or are required to have, and they've all been preparing, to have something of which we all have. Foreign currencies. They've been collecting foreign currencies. But they've been collecting some for so long in preparation for July 1st. The Basel III endgame. Goldilocks wants to emphasize that here's how Basel III might indirectly affect foreign currency exchange rates. Number one, increased capital requirements. Where Basel III mandates higher capital requirements for banks, meaning higher amounts of money that they hold in reserves, some 100 billion or more. And what this does is it potentially leads to increased borrowing costs for banks and reduced lending capacity. Number two, impact on capital flows, meaning increased capital requirements or increased money flow within the banks could lead to a shift in the flow of money, both domestically and internationally. Banks may reduce foreign investments or repatriate assets such as more gold, potentially impacting foreign currency exchange rates. Are you seeing the pieces to the puzzle and how important Basel III endgame is? Also, Basel III with banks, it allows for reduced credit availability, meaning, folks, banks know that they will not be able to get bailed out and go borrow money from the government. Meaning credit. They won't be able to get credit like they did before. Also, the impact on central bank policies. The Basel III regulations can also influence central banks' policies around the world. To address the impact of these higher cash flow or capital requirements on banks, central banks like the Central Bank of Iraq, of Vietnam, of Venezuela, and all central banks, they might lower interest rates or implement other measures to support the new financial system of Basel III that goes live on July 1st. These measures can also affect exchange rates. In summary, Goldilocks is sharing, while Basel III does not directly dictate exchange rates, the changes that Basel III brings to bank capital and the new financial system can have an indirect impact on currency exchange rates, and also to potentially impact exchange rates in a very strong way. These impacts are likely to be felt through changes in the capital flows or the cash flow of banks, the credit availability, which is the ability for a bank to get bailed out if they get into financial trouble. Those days are gone. Back in 2008, because of the financial crisis, several banks and businesses were able to utilize credit and tap into the government to get bailed out. Many of these banks really, when I think of it, it was like, during COVID when you had people getting those those PPPs, those PPP loans, and they were taking advantage of having access to these PPP loans. That was what, 4 or 5 years ago? Which a lot of those people are now going to jail. But nonetheless, they were bailed out through PPPs and took advantage. The financial crisis in 2008 for the U.S. banking system, the banks and businesses tapped into the government like PPPs. They had bailouts. They were able to play the game, take advantage of the system. Basel III endgame, like the name says, it's an endgame. Banks won't be able to do that after July 1st. They have to have protection mechanisms in place. Gold, cash, and foreign currency reserves. All three. Just think, many of the banks around the world that have the same currencies that many of us have invested in, they have many of those currencies in their reserves. Do you not think they know the value of those currencies are going to increase? Do you think banks would have foreign currency reserves in large numbers if they were going to remain poo-poo? I don't think so. The Basel III endgame that goes into effect July 1st, and actually, just so that you are aware, it actually started July the 1st, 2023, went into effect October the 1st, 2024, and the end game is July 1st, 2025, whereby all banks around the world must be compliant and it will be implemented. They've been preparing for this, stocking gold. They've been preparing this, stocking cash. They've been prepared for this, stocking foreign currencies and also cryptocurrencies. There are much and many things that are happening within the banking system that's indirectly connected to increasing the value of foreign currencies. But if you are constantly looking for someone to tell you when to go to the bank, you're going to miss the fact that the banks are getting ready and prepared. And many people, like in the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room, have already been to the banks and got prepared and structured with wealth managers. You have the golden opportunity to do the same exact thing. It doesn't cost you a penny. Click the link at the top of the description, beautiful people. You have time, but not a lot of it. The systems are being set in motion. Be well, beautiful people. We love you. Ciao, ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.